The EDF Indomitable floated quietly among the asteroids, hidden from the alien fleet that had destroyed most of Earth's ships. Captain Jimin Park stood on the bridge, looking at the screen showing enemy positions. Her face remained calm, but inside she worried about her family back on Earth. "All systems working normally, Captain," said Lieutenant Do-hyun Kim from his station. "Our special phase shift drive is at 94%. The aliens can't see us." Jimin nodded slightly. She hadn't heard from her parents and brother in Seoul for weeks. The last message said they had reached an underground shelter, but that was all she knew. "Captain," called Ensign Hana Lee from her communications post. "Message from Admiral Choi. Operation Longshot is approved." Everyone on the bridge went quiet. They all knew what Operation Longshot meant. One ship against thousands in a desperate mission. That most likely meant death for them all. "Understood," Jimin said with a steady voice. "Set course for the Consortium Command Center. Let's show these aliens that humans aren't beaten yet." As the ship's engines started up, Jimin spoke to the entire crew through the intercom. "This is your captain. You know our mission. The odds are bad, but remember, humans have always done the impossible when we have no other choice. We carry humanity's best weapons, our ability to adapt, our cleverness, and our refusal to give up. One ship, one mission. Let's surprise these aliens." The Indomitable moved carefully through space, its new technology making it invisible to the consortium's sensors. The enemy fleet was massive. Thousands of ships arranged in perfect formations around their mothership, a vessel so large it almost looked like a small moon. In the ship's meeting room, the senior officers gathered around a table with glowing maps showing their planned route. "The consortium has 7 alien species working together," explained Commander Minji Kang, the second in command. "They've never encountered anything like humans before. Their ships are bigger and more powerful, but they have one weakness. They think and act as one," continued Do-hyun. "Every alien ship follows exact orders from their leaders. They don't make decisions on their own. That's why we lost so many battles," added Chief Engineer Taeyong-song. "They move perfectly together in ways we couldn't predict, but it's also their biggest weakness." Jimin pointed to the alien mothership on the map. "Our mission is to get close enough to use Dr. Song's special algorithm, a computer program that will disrupt their command network. If it works, their ships won't be able to communicate with each other." "And that's when we strike," said Minji. "Earth's remaining forces are waiting. If we can confuse the aliens even for a short time, we might have a chance." Dr. Song looked worried. "But Captain, getting close enough to use the algorithm means flying right into the middle of their fleet. Even with our phase shift technology, it's extremely dangerous." "I know," Jimin said quietly. "That's why this mission is volunteer only." The room fell silent again. Then Do-hyun stood up. "I volunteered the moment I heard about the mission, Captain." One by one, the others stood as well. "As did I," said Minji. "Me too," added Hana. Dr. Song was the last to stand. "The phase shift drive is my creation. I need to be there to make sure it works." Jimin looked at each of them, feeling a mixture of pride and sadness. "Thank you, all of you." Later, as the Indomitable approached the outer edge of the alien fleet, Jimin stood alone by the viewports in her quarters. She held a small photo of her family taken during their last vacation together at Jeju Island. Her father's smile, her mother's kind eyes, her brother's arm around her shoulders, all of it seemed from another lifetime. A soft knock at her door interrupted her thoughts. "Enter," she called. It was Minji. "We're approaching the entry point, Captain. It's time." Jimin placed the photo carefully in her pocket. "Do you think we can win this, Minji? Really win?" "I don't know," Minji answered honestly. "But I do know. Those aliens have never seen anything like us before. They might have better ships and weapons, but they don't understand what makes humans special." "And what's that?" asked Jimin. "Hope," Minji replied. "Even when things look impossible, we keep hoping and fighting. One ship against a fleet? The consortium would never try something so foolish. They can't understand why we'd even attempt it." "Because it's our last chance," Jimin said. "No," said Minji with a small smile. "Because it's what humans do. We take chances. And sometimes, Just sometimes. We win against all odds. Jimin nodded and straightened her uniform. Then let's go make history, one way or another. The two officers walked together to the bridge where the crew waited at their stations. Through the main view screen, they could see the vast alien armada spread out before them like a sea of metal and light. All stations report ready, Captain, said Do-Yun. Jimin took her seat in the command chair. Begin Operation Longshot. Take us in. The Indomitable slipped forward, one tiny ship moving toward the largest alien fleet humanity had ever seen, carrying with it the last best hope for Earth's survival. The Indomitable moved silently through the dark void of space, its engines barely making a whisper. Inside the ship, Captain Jimin Park gathered her crew in the main briefing room. They all knew that the real planning for their mission began now. Tell us exactly how we're going to do this, said Minji, her arms crossed over her chest. How? Can one ship take on their entire fleet? Jimin nodded to Do-Hyun, who stood and walked to the display screen at the front of the room. The consortium has a major weakness, Do-Hyun said, tapping the screen to show a glowing image of the alien fleet. Their ships don't make independent decisions. Every single action comes from their mothership. Hana raised her hand. Like a beehive? Exactly, Do-Hyun replied. Cut off the queen and the workers don't know what to do. Dr. Taeyong-song looked worried. But how do we get close enough to the mothership? It's in the middle of their fleet. Jimin pointed to a spot on the map. There's a gas cloud here between the 5th and 6th defensive rings. The radiation will hide our approach. Even with the phase shift technology, we'll need perfect timing, Taeyong said, scratching his head. And what happens if they spot us? We'll have about 30 seconds before they can aim their weapons, Do-Hyun answered. Their targeting systems are slow to adjust. Minji shook her head. 30 seconds isn't much time. It's enough, Jimin said with confidence she didn't entirely feel. We don't need to destroy the mothership. We just need to get close enough to upload our disruption program into their network. The crew fell silent as they considered the plan. It seemed impossible, but they had no other choice. Once we're in position, Jimin continued, Dr. Song will activate the phase shift at maximum power. This will make us invisible to their sensors for exactly 2 minutes. That's our window to get close to the mothership and upload the program. And if we miss that window? Asked Ensign Hana. Jimin's face remained calm. Then we become visible in the middle of their fleet. Nobody needed to ask what would happen after that. Later, in the ship's small dining area, Do-Yun sat alone, studying the alien fleet patterns on his tablet. He didn't look up when Minji sat down across from him. Can't sleep, she asked. Just making sure I understand their patrol patterns, he replied. Their ships move in perfect geometric formations, too perfect. That's what we're counting on, Minji said. They can't imagine anyone being crazy enough to fly straight into their fleet. Do-Hyun finally looked up. Are we crazy? Probably, she admitted with a small smile. But it's a good kind of crazy. On the other side of the ship, Dr. Song was in his lab, making final adjustments to the disruption program. The door slid open, and Captain Jimin walked in. How's our secret weapon? She asked. Taeyong gestured to the small device on his workbench. It's ready. This will force their command network to reset. When it does, their ships will lose connection with the mothership for about 5 minutes. And Earth's forces will be waiting to attack during those 5 minutes, Jimin said. If we can get close enough to use it, Taeyong replied. The phase shift drive was never designed for this kind of operation. It might burn out after we use it. Which means no quick escape, Jimin said quietly. Exactly. Jimin placed her hand on the scientist's shoulder. I'm asking a lot of you, Taeyong, of everyone. We all volunteered, he reminded her, and better to go down fighting than waiting for the consortium to find Earth. In her quarters, Hana was recording a message for Iwer, her family. Mom, Dad, I don't know if you'll ever see this, but I want you to know I'm doing something important, something that might help save everyone. Her voice caught for a moment before she continued. I'm not scared. Well, maybe a little. But Captain Park believes in our mission, so I do too. On the bridge, Jimin stood alone looking out at the stars. In a few hours, they would reach the edge of the consortium fleet. Their impossible plan would begin. Captain? She turned to see Minji standing at the door. The crew is ready, Minji said. Everyone knows their part. And do they understand the odds? Jimin asked. They do, Minji confirmed. But they also understand what happens if we do nothing. Jimin nodded slowly. In the old days, sailors used to write letters to their families before dangerous missions, just in case they didn't come back. Did you write one? Minji asked. No, Jimin replied. Because we are coming back, all of us. Minji smiled. That's why we follow you, Captain, because you believe in impossible things. The next morning, the crew gathered on the bridge as the ship approached the outer edge of the consortium fleet. Thousands of alien vessels spread out before them like stars in the night sky. All stations report, Jimin ordered, taking her seat in the command chair. Engineering ready, said Dr. Song over the comm. Phase shift drive at full capacity. Navigation ready, said the pilot. Tactical ready, said Do-Yun. Communications ready, reported Hana. Jimin took a deep breath and looked at the enemy fleet on the view screen. The consortium thinks they know everything about humans. They think they can predict our every move because we're weaker than they are. Today we prove them wrong. She glanced around at her crew, seeing determination in their eyes. Begin approach, she ordered. Let's go make history. The Indomitable slipped between two massive alien ships, each one at least 20 times larger than the human vessel. The strange purple glow from the consortium ships made shadows dance across the faces of the bridge crew. Captain Jimin held her breath as they passed within just a few hundred meters of an enemy patrol craft. Hold steady, she whispered, though there was no need to be quiet in the vacuum of space. Old habits from hiding as a child during the first alien attacks died hard. Lieutenant Do-Yun's fingers danced across his console, constantly adjusting their position. Another patrol coming from the left, Captain. Distance 500 meters and closing. Can they see us? Asked Commander Minji. Dr. Taeyong's voice came through the comm system from engineering. The phase shift is holding at 87%. We're still invisible to their sensors, but not for much longer. The system is heating up too quickly. Jimin nodded, studying the tactical display. They had penetrated 3 layers of the consortium's defensive rings. 4 more to go before they reached the mothership. The alien fleet was arranged in perfect circles around their command ship, like the rings of an ancient tree. Captain, called Ensign Hana from her communication station. I'm picking up strange signals from the enemy ships. It's like they're talking to each other. Let me hear it, ordered Jimin. Hana pressed a button, and a strange humming filled the bridge. It rose and fell in patterns that almost seemed like words, but not in any human language. What is that? Asked Minji, her face showing disgust. It's their hive mind, said Do-Hyun. The way they communicate with each other and the mothership. Jimin listened carefully. Can we use this somehow? Maybe, Hana replied. If I can decode their communication patterns, we might be able to predict their movements better. Suddenly, alarms blared across the bridge. The ship rocked violently. What was that? Demanded Jimin. Energy discharge from that battleship, Do-Hyun reported. They didn't target us directly, it was just a routine weapons test, but we were too close. Damage report, called Jimin. Minor damage to the outer hull, replied Dr. Taeyong. But the phase shift drive took a power surge. Efficiency down to 72%. Jimin's mind raced. They needed at least 60% efficiency to remain undetected. Any lower, and the consortium would spot them instantly. Adjust course, she ordered. Take us through that debris field. The wreckage from their earlier battles might help mask our signature. The ship turned gently, heading toward a floating graveyard of destroyed vessels, the remains of Earth's earlier attempts to fight the consortium. As they moved slowly through the twisted metal and broken hulls, the crew fell silent, remembering. Friends lost in those one-sided battles. Captain, Hana called suddenly. I'm intercepting a new transmission from the mothership. They're ordering the fleet to prepare for a final attack on Earth. Timeline, 6 hours. The blood drained from Jimin's face. 6 hours? That's not enough time for Earth to prepare their defenses. She looked at Minji. We need to move faster. If we increase speed, the phase shift will burn out sooner, warned Dr. Taeyong. We have no choice, replied Jimin. Better to be detected near the mothership than to arrive too late to save Earth. She turned to Do-Yun. Plot a direct course to the mothership. Ignore the defensive rings, we're going straight in. Do-Yun's eyes widened, but he nodded and began entering the new course. As the Indomitable increased speed, weaving through the enemy fleet, Jimin watched the massive mothership grow larger on the view screen. It was unlike any of the other consortium vessels, part machine, part living organism. Its surface pulsed with strange lights like a giant heart beating in the darkness of space. Phase shift efficiency at 65%, reported Dr. Taeyong, his voice tense. 63%, 61%. We just need a few more minutes, Jimin said, more to herself than to the crew. Suddenly, Hana straightened in her chair. Captain, I've decoded part of their communication. The mothership is sending the attack coordinates for Earth. Can you block the transmission? Asked Minji. No, but there's something odd about these signals, replied Hana, her fingers flying across her console. The consortium ships don't just receive orders, they literally can't function without constant direction from the mothership. Like robots without a program, said Do-Yun. Jimin's eyes lit up with understanding. So they're not just connected, they're completely dependent. That's even better than we hoped. A loud alarm cut through her words. Phase shift at 59%, called Dr. Taeyong. We're becoming visible to their sensors. Distance to mothership? Demanded Jimin. 2,000 meters, replied Do-Yun. We need to get within 500 meters to upload the disruption program. On the view screen, Jimin could see alien ships beginning to turn toward them, like predators sensing prey. They've spotted us, said Minji, her voice calm despite the danger. Jimin gripped the arms of her command chair. All power to engines. Get us to that mothership. The Indomitable surged forward, racing toward the heart of the alien fleet. No longer hiding but charging directly at its target. Behind them, the first enemy shots flashed through space, missing the human ship by mere meters. We're going to make it, Jimin said firmly. We have to. Alarms blared throughout the Indomitable as enemy fire streaked past the ship. The phase shift technology had failed completely now, leaving them fully visible to the consortium fleet. On the bridge, Captain Jimin gripped her chair as the ship shook from a near miss. Distance to mothership? She demanded. 700 meters, replied Do-Yun, his fingers dancing across his console. Enemy ships converging on our position from all sides. Evasive maneuvers, ordered Jimin. Keep us moving toward the target. The Indomitable twisted and turned, somehow avoiding the deadly energy beams fired by the alien vessels. Jimin watched in amazement as their small ship performed impossible moves between the massive enemy cruisers. How are we not hit yet? Asked Minji, standing beside the captain's chair. They're not used to targets that move unpredictably, Do-Hyun explained, never taking his eyes off his tactical display. Their weapons are designed to hit ships that follow standard attack patterns. And we're definitely not standard, said Jimin with a grim smile. The mothership filled their view screen now. An enormous structure that seemed to pulse with life. Its surface was a strange combination of metal and what looked like living tissue. Captain, called Dr. Taeyong through the comm. I'm getting unusual readings from the mothership. It's not just a vessel, it's partially organic. Organic, repeated Jimin. You mean it's alive? In a way, yes, confirmed Taeyong. And so are all the other ships in the fleet. They're not just mechanical. They're some kind of hybrid between machine and living organism. This new information raced through Jimin's mind. That explains their hive mind communication. They're not just talking to each other. They're parts of the same organism. Captain, interrupted Do-Hyun. 500 meters to target, we're in range to upload the disruption program. Do it now, ordered Jimin. Dr. Taeyong's voice came through again. Captain, I don't think the program will work as planned. If these ships are organic, our computer virus might not affect them the way we thought. Jimin felt a cold knot form in her stomach. Their entire mission was based on uploading a program that would temporarily shut down the consortium's command network. If it didn't work? Options? She asked. We need to understand more about how they function, said Taeyong. I need direct access to their systems. Jimin exchanged looks with Minji. They both knew what that meant. We need to board the mothership, Jimin said. That wasn't part of the plan, Minji protested. Plans change, replied Jimin firmly. Do-hyun, get us close enough to dock with that thing. Yes, Captain. The Indomitable surged forward, dodging enemy fire as it closed the final distance to the mothership. The alien vessel towered over them, like a whale next to a minnow. I'm detecting what appears to be a maintenance port on the lower section, reported Do-hyun. We might be able to dock there. Do it, ordered Jimin. She turned to Minji. Prepare a boarding team. You, me, Dr. Taeyong, and 2 security officers. Minutes later, the 5-person team stood in the airlock, checking their environment suits and weapons. The ship shuddered as it locked onto the alien vessel. Remember, said Jimin, our goal is to reach their central control system. Dr. Taeyong needs to analyze it so we can modify our program to work against an organic computer. The airlock door slid open, revealing a strange, dimly lit corridor. Inside the mothership, the walls pulsed with a soft light, almost like they were breathing. This is disturbing, muttered one of the security officers. The team moved cautiously through the alien vessel. The corridors seemed to shift and change as they passed, almost as if the ship was aware of their presence. It knows we're here, whispered Dr. Taeyong, scanning the walls with his device. The entire ship is a single organism. It's like we're inside a giant brain. They reached a large chamber filled with glowing strands that connected in complex patterns, like an enormous 3-dimensional web. This must be the central nervous system, said Taeyong, moving to a pulsating structure in the center. He connected his device to one of the strands. Incredible! I'm accessing their data network. What are you finding? Asked Jimin. Taeyong's eyes widened as he read the information scrolling across his screen. Captain, you're not going to believe this. The consortium didn't come to destroy us. They came because they're afraid of us. Afraid? Of humans? Minji looked skeptical. We're much weaker than they are. Not physically, explained Taeyong. They fear our minds, our unpredictability, our individual thinking. The consortium is a true hive mind. Every ship, every being in their fleet acts as a single organism. They have no concept of individual thought or action. And that's why they attacked us, asked Jimin. Because we think differently? They see us as a disease, said Taeyong. Our individuality, our free will. To them, it's like a virus that could infect their perfect system. They believe that if humans spread throughout the galaxy, we'll bring chaos to their ordered universe. Jimin looked around at the living ship, understanding dawning on her face. So they're not evil, they're just different. They literally cannot understand how we function. And that, said Taeyong with growing excitement, is their weakness. They can't predict what individuals will do. It's why they haven't been able to hit our ship. We don't follow patterns they can understand. So how do we use this? Asked Minji. Taeyong's fingers flew across his device. Instead of shutting down their network, I'm going to introduce something they've never experienced before. What's that? Asked Jimin. Dr. Taeyong looked up with a smile. Individual thought. Remember to include proper citations if you use information from web search results in your response. Use tags to properly cite information from the provided search results. Dr. Taeyong's fingers moved quickly over his device as he connected it to the pulsing organic core of the alien mothership. Captain Jimin and Commander Minji stood guard while the 2 security officers watched the entrance to the chamber. What exactly are you doing? Jimin asked, keeping her voice low. I'm creating a new type of program, Taeyong explained. Instead of attacking their network, I'm injecting human decision-making patterns into their hive mind. Will that work? Minji looked doubtful. Their entire society is built on perfect unity, said Taeyong. Every ship, every alien follows the exact same orders without question. They've never experienced individual thought. A strange alarm began to sound throughout the ship. The walls around them pulsed faster, changing from purple to an angry red. I think they know what we're doing, said one of the security officers nervously. Too late, Taeyong said with a smile. Program uploaded. Now we wait. For several seconds, nothing seemed to happen. Then the ship shuddered violently. Through the transparent sections of the wall, they could see the consortium fleet outside. Ships were breaking formation, moving in random directions. Some were even colliding with each other. It's working, exclaimed Taeyong. They can't handle individual thought patterns. Each ship is trying to make its own decisions for the first time. We need to get back to the Indomitable, ordered Jimin. Now! The team raced through the corridors of the mothership, which now shook continuously. When they reached the airlock and returned to their ship, Ensign Hana was waiting with incredible news. Captain, the consortium is trying to communicate with us, she said, her eyes wide with disbelief. They're requesting to speak with you directly. Jimin hurried to the bridge where the main screen showed a strange alien figure. Its body was translucent with multiple eyes and a brain clearly visible inside its head. What have you done to us? The alien's voice sounded pained, confused. We showed you how humans think, replied Jimin calmly. Each person making their own choices, following their own path. Chaos, hissed the alien. Disorder. How do you function this way? We call it freedom, said Jimin. It's what makes us human. The alien seemed to struggle with this concept. Your ships, not connected. Your minds, separate. Yet you work together? Yes, Jimin nodded. We choose to work together, but we think independently. That's our strength. The alien was silent for a long moment. We cannot comprehend this way of existence. You don't need to comprehend it, said Jimin. You just need to understand that it's different from yours, not wrong or dangerous. As they spoke, Do-hyun reported that the consortium fleet was pulling back, creating distance between themselves and the Indomitable. We came to remove the chaos you represent, the alien leader finally said. But we cannot fight against what we do not understand. Your individuality is too unpredictable. That's why you couldn't defeat us, explained Jimin. One human making unexpected choices is hard enough to predict. Billions of us, each thinking differently, creating new ideas. Impossible. The alien's many eyes blinked, in sequence. We will withdraw from your system. Your species will be quarantined, not destroyed. We cannot risk infection of individual thought. Jimin smiled. We're not a disease. We're just different. Maybe someday you'll understand that diversity can be a strength, not a weakness. The communication ended abruptly. On the tactical display, the consortium fleet was already reforming, but now they were moving away from Earth, retreating into deep space. They're leaving, said Minji in disbelief. We actually did it. The bridge crew cheered, hugging each other in celebration. Even the normally serious Do-hyun was smiling widely. Send a message to Earth, ordered Jimin. Tell them the consortium is retreating and the immediate threat is over. Later, as the Indomitable began its journey home, Jimin stood alone in her quarters, looking at the photo of her family. A message had come through from Earth. Her parents and brother were safe. The defense lines had held just long enough. Dr. Taeyong knocked on her door, entering when she called out. I've been analyzing the data we collected from the mothership, he said. It's fascinating. The consortium has existed for thousands of years, spreading across multiple galaxies. In all that time, they've never encountered a species like humans before. What makes us so special? Asked Jimin. Most intelligent species in their experience developed hive minds as they evolved, explained Taeyong. It's more efficient, more peaceful. But humans took a different path. We stayed individual, competitive, sometimes chaotic. And that saved us, said Jimin thoughtfully. Exactly. The very things they saw as our weakness, our unpredictability, our individual thinking, turned out to be our greatest strength. Jimin placed the family photo carefully on her desk. Do you think they'll come back someday? Maybe, Taeyong replied. But they'll never understand us, just as we'll never fully understand them. Different isn't always bad, it's just different. On the bridge, Hana received the first transmissions from Earth's leaders, congratulating them on their mission. Celebrations were breaking out across the planet as news of the alien retreat spread. One ship, Minji said, joining Jimin as she returned to the bridge. One mission, and one very surprised alien fleet, finished Jimin with a smile. Let's go home. As the Indomitable set course for Earth, Jimin looked out at the stars. The consortium had superior technology, stronger weapons, and perfect coordination. But they didn't have what made humans special, the ability to think independently, to make choices, to change and adapt. In the end, it wasn't humanity's weapons that had saved them. It was simply being human.